Morning, everybody. Glenn, Red Dog Motorsports. Well, it's morning for me. Unknown when you're watching the video, but thank you for tuning in. This week we're working on something a little bit different. Right here, got me a 2016 C7 Corvette. This is in the shop to get a whole bunch of things done, but for today we're just working on a turbo mount. This is a rear mounted turbo car. I'll get down there and show you a little bit, but pretty cool car. Black on black on black, and it's a little dirty right now. Lots of pollen in the air. Not much to see under the hood. Looks pretty stock because it is, other than the intake part, which runs all the way down the driver's side of the car and back to the back, and then underneath we've got a turbo, which I'll roll under there in a minute and show you. And then other than that, the exhaust runs down the right side, so not a lot to see from up here. But goal on this car, we're going to do the turbo mount for now, and then it's having some cooling issues. There's no intercooler on it, and but I'm going to drive the car once we get everything fixed with the turbo mount, so it's not bouncing on the bumper and that kind of thing. And then we will see if our cooling problem is from a head gasket issue or intake air temps. I know it did some dyno pulls, so there's a couple of possibilities. Intake air could be one, since we got no intercooler. Not enough fuel could be another. This is a methanol car, so if the methanol is not working and the fuel injectors aren't putting out enough fuel, we could be running lean. And then we could have a coolant issue too. I noticed a lot of coolant, or a lot of water. I can't really 100% tell if it's coolant. Came out the exhaust when I fired it up here a moment ago. So hopefully that's just condensation from sitting in the heat in the afternoon and then cooling down overnight. We'll find out. So a couple of different things to check, but for now, let's roll you underneath and I'll show you the turbo bracket that we're dealing with. So here's some of that water I was talking about, and it does feel like water. It doesn't have the, you know, coolant always has a slick feeling to it. A little bit of lubricity, I believe is the proper term. I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me. So hopefully it's just water sitting in the exhaust, like I said, condensation. But underneath, so we have a oilless turbo. Right above you, there's the cold side that heads back to the intake, and it runs all the way up. You guys probably can't see it, but it runs all the way up through the car. Hot side is over on the other side. Just air cleaner down here, which is looking rather dirty. We'll probably have to take that off at some point, clean it. And then, oh my. So the turbo bracket is this part right here, and I did not realize what we had going on. I thought it went all the way across. Oh, it broke. Okay, well that's the problem. So it used to run from right there and then come over here. I'm going to turn you around. So used to run just like that and over to the turbo and then to the other side, but it has broken, and that's why it fell down. So it used to be mounted right there. I can't really, right here, but can't Can you see that right there? It didn't have a lot of material, so I'm going to see if we can't do something a little better and mount up here to the steel frame. I'm going to try to use some 1 1/8 inch and yeah, get it tucked up tighter to the body and then drop a bracket down, and that should fix our problem. I know sometimes when I explain this verbally, doesn't make a lot of sense, especially with the video, because I'm not able to get a clear picture of what's underneath there and get you the same viewpoint I have. However, it will all become clear. I'll show it side by side once we get everything out and I get things situated. So let's get on it. First thing we're gonna do, get some measurements and start seeing what kind of length we're dealing with, that kind of thing. All right, so been working on getting things out and just kind of a little bit of planning on how I'm going to go about getting the new bracket in there and mounted up and stuff. I think I've come up with a pretty good game plan. So this is the bracket that came out. That's 3/4 inch angle, 1/8 inch thick. It was notched to clear a couple of the brackets, which creates weakness here and on the other side. And then of course wasn't much meat left in it. On top of that, on the ends here, it was attached to some aluminum brackets with barely any meat in it. Definitely not up to the task that it was being requested to do. So we're going to go back with some tubing. I'm not going to bend it. I don't have any need to. We're going to tuck this all the way up against the body of the car, and going to cut some brackets out of this 1/4 inch material. This is overkill, but I've got it, and it's cheap because I got it for free. But we will weld that, something like that. Let me dry you up real quick. Sorry. So we'll go something like this. We'll neaten that up. I'm not, those are just example lines, don't freak out. So it'll go something like that. And then we'll have a bolt hole and a bolt hole. We'll drill into the chassis of the car, put some nut certs, and then just some 1/4-20s are going to be just fine to hold it. It just needs to keep it rotating, and they've got plenty of strength and shear to carry the weight of the turbo and exhaust. I don't expect that that would be over, you know, say 10,000 psi or something like that when it bangs down under shock load or something. Probably not even that. That's probably a conservative estimate. So I'm going to make up 2 neat brackets that will then get welded to this tubing. We'll slide it up into the car. We'll get the holes drilled, and then in the center, I think I'm going to get some 1 inch by 1/4 strapping, and we'll bend something down and whatnot to attach that U-bolt to. The U-bolt itself was fine. I think it'll be okay. It gives it good support from below, so I think we'll stick with that. I don't think that was a problem. Would have preferred to have seen it in stainless, but stainless has its own problems. A lot of times it will tend to gall when it gets dirty and you try to take it apart. And the other is they didn't use nylocks on it, so we'll switch the nuts over to nylocks so it doesn't come loose. Although nylocks probably, it might be a heat related problem too. That turbo's going to get hot, so maybe not nylocks. Maybe we'll just use lock washers because there was no lock washers. So let's get moving. Let's get it done. Okay, got things cleaned up and the basics of the brackets done, at least for the main support. We still are going to have to come down with something that's going to reach the turbo itself, and I'll either use some 1/4 inch strapping that I bend 1 inch wide, or we could make a sheet metal bracket out of some 1/8 or something. That's a possibility. But these are made, everything's cleaned up, got some holes drilled in. This is going to go basically just like that. And but before I do any of that, I got to put it all in the car and make sure that width-wise it's correct. Once I know that it's correct for the width and that it'll fit in there with the end pieces on it, then I can set it up out here and tack weld it on. And then we can mark our holes and get them drilled into the car so that we can set our nut certs. And of course I need to leave a little room for the nut certs because they don't sit completely flush either. So that's why we need to fit it into the car first, so that if we need to cut this bar down, we can do so. So let's go do that. All right, as you can see from my getup, I'm ready to do some tack welding. So I got things set up. What I'm using on the back side, I got me a magnet. This helps me get this square, get this flat on there. And then, probably a little hard to see, but I got some white paint. I used the marker, just laid this flat on the table and then ran the marker, just rolled it basically, so that these are on the same plane, and that'll let me get it lined up, the center line that I've got scratched into the base plate. That'll keep these being orientated, so I don't have one like that and one like that. Not that it would matter a whole lot, but it'll look better this way if they're square to each other. So now I'll get another tack on the other side, then I'll flip it over and do the same thing, and then we can get it in the vehicle, get these holes marked, drilled, nut certs, and then we'll work on getting the center portion built, and then we'll finish weld it all, clean it all up, probably send it out for powder coating. I could just paint it, but I think being underneath the vehicle, powder coating is going to be better. So get another quick tack on here, and then switch everything around. So yeah, now just a quick flip. Basically get everything lined back up with the magnet. Now I know I'm square. I'll get a quick tack on it. We'll double check that these are in the same plane, and then should be good to go. Now I can just set them on the floor and they shouldn't rock. We'll find out. Oh, I screwed up already. I set that too far down. I'm gonna bust that off and clean it all up and redo it. All right, got everything reset. I got room on the upper side for a weld. That's what I screwed up before. And let's get her tacked in. All right, let's see how we did. No rocking. That's good. All right. So now, I don't believe that's going to go in there without removing the turbo. I'll try it, but I think we're going to have to take the turbo out. I'll have to get it, figure out all the alignment, and then, yeah, I might have to take the turbo in and out a couple of times. That's going to suck. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But we got to do what we got to do. So maybe we get lucky. Let's go find out. All right, we're underneath the car and we got lucky. The bracket, at least this portion of it, will fit in here without removing the turbo. So it just is going to sit all the way up against the bottom of the body here, right up in there, and we're going to bolt it in on either side. Sorry, I'm having trouble getting my hands in here while holding you all. So it'll go up like that. So now I got to mark it. We'll drill it and get the nut certs installed. I need to get it, make sure I'm aligned here in the center where we're going to bolt up to. So I may not even worry about drilling it quite yet. I may see about making this center portion first so I can get the alignment right before I drill those, so that I don't have to do that more than once. Might be a good idea, huh? But you can see on this side we got a little bit more going on. We got the exhaust coming in. That's the hot side of the turbo. Blow off valve. And we need to make sure we are aligned right here. So I got to squeeze it in here. And this is kind of where I'm thinking just some 1/8 inch material with a 90-degree bend in it might be pretty good. So I think that's what we're going to make, so that it'll fit up in there. And then I'll use the old piece that came out as my template. I have to avoid this Zerk fitting. This is since this is an oilless turbo, it needs to be greased regularly. So we can't block that. We need room for that. And then the V-bands create a little bit of interference, so we got to make sure to squeeze in between all of that. So let me go bend that bracket up. I need to know how tall it's going to be, and we can make something. All right, I got things basically cut out and started for my mount. Oh darn it, I did screw up. I should have drilled these holes before I bent this. Got ahead of myself. No big deal. Now we'll just hand drill them. But now I need to bend. I want to bend these in, and they'll align here, and we'll weld it. My bender won't do it. My press brake just won't fit in there with everything and give me good bends. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it over. I'm going to slit it with my grinder on the line and just put a cut in it. That's going to make it real easy to bend, because I won't have to worry about it on the ends. Or I can do the ends in from the ends and then just weld them. I'm probably going to do the center because welding is going to be a little bit easier there, rather than trying to get out here where it's really thin. So I'm going to do that. We'll cut the centers out of it, then it'll be easy to bend over. Should be able to do them by hand. And then we'll have to weld the ends, drill the holes that I forgot to drill, and after that we should be able to get it in there and get our vertical height set so that everything's going to line where it needs to be. Then we can get the upper bar drilled in, all that good stuff. So let's get on it. All right, well, I got my bracket made, went to test fit it in the car. I've run into a problem. Let me show you real quick. So when it's in the car, this is facing the rear. This goes up against the tube mount that we made. This is where the turbo is. And then you've got parts of the turbo here. And you're supposed to put the nut on like so. Problem is I can't get my fat fingers in there, and I'm not likely to be able to get a wrench in there either. I need to be able to access them from the sides. So what I think I'm going to do is cut these parts off and then slit it and then make it so that this is the center bracket, and then that just that, or I'll remake the whole thing and just make a bottom bracket. But yeah, got to do something a little different there. And whether I modify this one or make a whole new one, I haven't quite decided yet. I'll let you guys know when I figure it out. But we'll get it. Ain't a big deal. It happens. So let's get on it. All right, let me show you guys what I came up with. So since I've done all the work to keep this bracket, or to make this bracket, I've decided to keep it. Ends up looking not as good as I'd like, but it's not bad either. And you'll never see it. It's with the turbo. Not quite the quality we were hoping for. But, so what I've done, you can see on this side, we've got a 90. We've got the tab sticking out. That's where this will go. Like so. We'll now be able to access the bolts from the outside, get a wrench on them, or a socket. And the way I did it, I cut off this outside edge. I slit the material down to here, to this point, to the second line. I put a cut right there in between that line and that line. You guys can't really see it. It's this one. And then I bend a 90 there, and voila. We've got a little bit of cleanup, and we're good to go. So that's what I'm doing. It's working. A little bit messed up, but it'll work. Not the greatest. I could completely redo the bracket, I suppose, but I really don't have the materials or the time. So there you go. All right, bracket modifications are done. Now we need to stick it in the vehicle, but this is what we ended up with. At least my welding looks half decent. Not super happy with the bracket. I know paint and stuff will cover it up, but it's not what I had in my head when I started all of this. But at any rate, now we can get a socket on it, or a wrench. All that's going to work just fine. Now I have to go in and make sure that we get everything lined up with the upper bracket so that we can then bolt it to the vehicle. And basically with some finished welding, turbo bracket will be done. So let's go put it in the vehicle. All right, guys, it's in. Show you real quick what we got. I didn't want to do it after the turbo was in because you won't be able to see it at all. But we have the main bracket right here. So the turbo is going to hang down from here. This will be where our U-bolt goes. You can see back over in this area, we got one bracket. And then over here, we got the second bracket. Only got 3 bolts in it right now. But once those are tightened up, she should be pretty good and solid. Definitely better than what was here before. I'll take it out. We'll do a side-by-side comparison. All right, I don't know if this will make good video or not, but let's see if we can't slide this turbo back in here. We're underneath the vet, obviously. And what I need to do is come at it from an angle. And then turn it. And then rotate it. And then turn it some more. Ow. That's heavy on the head. That's not too bad. All right, we're close. There we go. Okay. Not bad. Now maybe I can get this clamp. All right. So that'll kind of hold that one. We'll get this clamp kind of held. I got it sitting up in here. Once I got the clamps on it, I need to play with the bracket. I put the bracket up in there already. It's gonna have to shift around and wiggle and stuff like that to rotate into place. So we'll put this clamp on. These clamps are always so much fun. I like them, but there we go. That's better. Oh, see, there we go. Now it really fits. All right, now we can start to tighten that down. Now I kept the turbo covered up and everything so we didn't get anything in it. It was wrapped in a towel all night. I'll tell you, this car sweats a lot. A lot of condensation up underneath this thing. I don't know, I guess it's because it's got an aluminum frame. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm gonna tighten the clamps up. We're gonna play with the bracket. None of that makes good video, but as you can see, we're getting close. So I'll bring you back in when we get it finished. All right, so everything's in, it's all bolted up. Kind of hard to see right there, but exhaust is nice and level, centered in the opening. Take you underneath real quick. So here's our new bracket up here, tucked up out of the way. We got our U-bolt holding everything up. It's nice and solid, it doesn't move. And everything is as it should be. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Catch me on the next video. If you would, like and subscribe. Refer me to a friend. Help me get the channel going. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week.